Hello and welcome to the Dude Ranch. Today we are exploring Twisted Ranch Cheddar Popper Jalapeno. Please join us. Bring your saddles. This is Sauce Spoken.
And we're back. Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the Dude Ranch. Except for this week, it's going to be Diversity Ranch. We are Sauce Spoken. We are the podcast detailing your favorite sauces, dips, and condiments. I'll be your host this week. My name's Adam. I'm joined here today by my co-host, Tori.
Hi, Adam. Thanks for having me tonight. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Of course, to my right, as always, our good friend and stunningly handsome, I might add, especially this evening, Eric.
I don't think anyone's going to believe you there, Tori. But thanks for passing it off. I appreciate that. On this wonderful, chilly February morning, or no, evening. I don't know what time of day it is.
Jesus. I do think it's a little bit funny because I've noticed something that we've started doing recently, and this was a gag I ran a long time ago where we were not referring to Eric as a co-host. And you unintentionally have been doing that the last several episodes where you've been saying our friend instead of our co-host. So we've been kind of implying that Eric is no longer a co-host.
Silly me. I just figured it was assumed.
Right? I've been here since episode 1.
I just like that.
And I've always hated that gag. I thought that gag was particularly
I like that gag.
After like the 7th or 8th time.
And now I've got you playing into it. So.
Well, he's our friend and our co-host, and he's still strikingly handsome, and he's still E.
And I'm still here,
so
and
here he
I'm
is.
Still sharing my thoughts on some sauces, so all is good. But tonight we have a special night, Adam.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. In addition to you not being a co-host, we have another person on with us as well this episode who is also not a co-host. Joined here again for our increment of 10 guests. This is episode 20 for us.
Perfect. It fits in the spreadsheet perfectly. Who could ask for more?
I like the way you had to point that out for our listeners.
Yeah, I can set up in the pattern. Jesus. I can highlight the rows. Every 10th is a guest episode.
Is that green or yellow highlighting you have?
Oh, well, I default to the yellow.
Is it dependent whether or not it falls during the season of Lent or
anyways?
Is it an odd number? Or
anyways,
how's that work? Okay, I'm my bad.
Anyways, we're joined here today as well by our good friend and my girlfriend, Kirsten.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Happy to be here on the ranch tonight.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure having you. You're a ray of sunshine around here.
Oh, well, thank you.
Absolutely.
As are you.
Oh, I try.
Yeah, the last guest episode, we brought someone on to review a more controversial sauce. We didn't really do that this time. What are you rolling your eyes at before, E?
Controversial? I mean, it was wing sauce, but I get it because it was Hooters. Yeah. You tried to play it up even during the episode. It was
if Hooters is considered controversial in 2021.
Yeah,
I'm going to eat this microphone in front of me.
One thing I would like to mention about that episode, that as it currently stands, is our most viewed episode on YouTube, and I can only imagine people click on it and are vastly disappointed by what they actually find for content if they're searching YouTube for Hooters. Because I'm sure that's where the funnel comes from.
Wow, I never gave that
probably
a thought.
13-year-olds searching for Hooters and then
that is hilarious.
Thinking we're hiding it in the middle of this podcast episode or something.
So is there a way to tell whether it's just a click and listen, or is it a full listen
I
through?
think there is, and like I said, we don't have a whole lot of views on YouTube at this point at all to begin with, but that one was our most, at least the initial views.
Oh, that is funny.
I know, I got a real kick out of that.
That is funny. That's an easy connection to make too.
Yeah, I know.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking, I know why that happened. But anyways, how was your week this week, Eric?
I've been having a great week. I got to do some cooking yesterday, which was cool. I got some pictures I'll get to share with everyone here in the coming week
on the gram
about one of our sauces. I tried actually that chicken barbecue white ivory barbecue sauce pizza thing. Yeah.
You made your pizza from the recipes.
I did, and it was
with the biscuit.
Yeah, with a biscuit crust,
ivory barbecue sauce. Yeah,
exactly.
Lily's Q.
Yeah, Lily's Q.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. You butchered the shit out of that.
Well, I was going to put it all on the gram.
Okay.
But then I decided to
reveal
more. I wasn't going to do the whole reveal
Put
here.
The episode number.
He butchered the shit out of the pizza?
No, the pizza was, almost pushed the shit out of my finger.
Oh, that's right. We won't spoil a surprise. You put the picture of your finger on the gram as well.
Oh, jeez.
As long as it doesn't get flagged for self-harm or something like that.
Criminy. Yeah, right.
But no, it's been a good week because I think I've been getting to bed earlier, so I've been a little more awake, which is nice. And
by earlier, you mean as soon as you get home from work, you take your nap? You take your daily nap?
No, I've been not doing the napping.
Nice. Very well done.
I've been going to bed earlier.
Okay, you sort of had a slip up, but you're holding strong.
That's good.
You mean, well, yeah.
With the napping.
With the napping, yeah.
How many naps are you up to this year? Can you still count them?
No, I don't know. Maybe 3. I wasn't keeping track.
Well, you said 3 last time I asked you, which was several episodes ago, so I don't know if I buy off.
Okay, maybe 4.
All right.
I don't know. It hasn't been that many.
I'm starting to see a trend here.
No, but things have been good. Work's been busy, which is good, and
work's been busy.
Yeah, of course. Classic line.
I had to run back into work today and do some G code.
Nope, didn't happen today, and things have been better. So,
okay.
How about you, Tori? How about you? I know you're off tomorrow. So,
well, I am off tomorrow. Yeah, so I may or may not having a couple of ice cold beers, dangerously cold beers.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous, to be honest.
Hey.
And you've got a selection today. You're straying from your typical Yingling.
I got quite the hodgepodge. Yeah, well, I got to be careful.
And I offered you an Oktoberfest just to add to that hodgepodge.
Hey, well, thank you. And and I may take you up on that. That's very nice of you.
I don't know how that would fit in.
I got to be careful though, man, because I got a lot of work to do tomorrow. So I can't hammer down a case of beer, which I easily could otherwise. I got to be careful. I got to pace myself. I got to have just that many cases in the fridge, cases in the fridge. Oh my goodness, beers in the fridge.
I got to get through the weekend. I need at least 3 cases.
It's not good, brother. Not good.
Now, your Taskmaster.
Which one? You or my wife?
Oh. Well, I certainly will not be there tomorrow. I was going to ask if she was going to be there tomorrow with you.
Oh, well, she will be there. Yeah, but I got to take my little kitty cat to the vet. I'm concerned as hell about him. He's been limping a little bit.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Well, you mentioned that to us. You hadn't mentioned that to. We haven't given the show the news yet.
I know. I'm worried about him. He's 6 months old, so so he tears around like hell. He's a roughneck. I mean, put it in a word. He's a ruffian.
He's got his older brother.
Yeah, he got his older brother that choke slams him every once in a while, like the Undertaker. But on an upshot, I got my new Brita this week.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
very good.
I got my new Brita, and I am just thrilled to hell and back. I am just turned on crisp, fresh water all day, and I love it. I love it dearly.
Hashtag Hydro Homies.
It's terrific. You stay hydrated, stay healthy.
We don't that's one sauce that we have not rated on the show that we are constant consumers of, which is good old fashioned, as we call it in Pennsylvania, water.
I've heard it referred to as Adam's ale. Yeah, right. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, that is okay. Yeah, we were all big drinkers of water on this show. We want to give Big Water a shout out. One of our sponsors, Big Water.
Hydration is incredibly important.
So what's your project tomorrow? Sorry to cut you off there, Adam.
Oh, this has been an ongoing thing. Of course, if you listened to last week, we're doing the floor. So the floor is remaining the project, the little subfloor issue to deal with. So of course that's through.
In the kitchen, at least.
The kitchen, right? Yeah. Only the kitchen. One headache at a time, please.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, we're laying the floor down, and then we're gonna see where it goes. I gotta take my boy down to the vet, and I'm gonna be drinking ice cold, crisp, refreshing water the entire time while I do so.
Very exciting.
That's great. Well, I wanted to give Kirsten a little bit of an intro. Now, Kirsten, like I said, we had mentioned that you're a friend of ours and you're my girlfriend, and you and I both have kind of a similar affinity for sauces. But I was kind of hoping that you could talk to us on the show a little bit about maybe a little history you have. Give us a little introduction to yourself first of all, and then go ahead and give us a little bit of maybe your history with sauces in the past. Your interest, what you like, what you don't like, things like that.
Salt and onions. That's my entire bio. That's all you need to know. I famously ate an entire onion once because I didn't have any other food. And
right, you ate it because you had a sauce for it, right?
The sauce said that it was for red onions. It had a big picture of a red onion on it.
Oh, curse words.
It was the only thing in my refrigerator, and it was right next to a red onion. So I kind of had to try it, and it was pretty good. It was a salad dressing. It was not good on salad, but I liked it in the sauce.
Yeah, the only reason that Kirsten's actually dating me is because I cook for her and I fill the refrigerator with food. That's the only reason she sticks around. She
Sounds about right.
Have to resort to eating raw red onions for dinner.
I didn't eat the entire onion. I was exaggerating a little bit.
Like an apple? Did you eat like an apple?
I did.
Nice.
I did. It was the only thing in my fridge. And it's not like I was too poor to eat. I was too busy.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
too busy to shop.
Yeah, too busy to shop, cook, clean, all the above.
I think you had gone to work and then you came back that day and you didn't want to go back out. I think that was kind of the general idea, right?
And I was in grad school and volunteering and just didn't have time for that.
Running ragged.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of the sauce? It sounds really interesting. I mean, I'm a fan of onions myself.
It's called Brianna's. I like the ranch dressing. I call it hers because it's Brianna's. I don't know whose it is.
It's a gal.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
So I like the one with the green onion on it, which, like I said, onion. So I bought the one with the purple onion on it, and it was really sweet, which I did not like, but it was good on the onion itself.
Interesting. I know there's a Vidalia onion dressing that's really, I like it a lot on salads. So
Yeah, I don't think this wasn't a sweet sauce that you had. The onion one, was it?
Yeah, it turned out to be sweet.
Oh, okay.
Well, the green onion one is not sweet, but the purple onion one is
Okay.
sweet. But it's good on the onion.
Do you want to tell our listeners what you do, kind of like what you do for a living, what kind of things you enjoy or whatever?
Yeah.
Or whatever, yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, that was my sauce background. My actual background is being from Ohio, and I moved to Pittsburgh recently, which I love.
Ohio gang represent.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Well, no.
3/4 of the table.
3 out of 4.
I mean,
3/4.
I'll cheer him on. Yeah.
Famously the home of Bertman's Ballpark Mustard. Thank you very much. Our highest rated sauce at this moment.
Hey, it deserves it.
It does. It absolutely does.
Yeah, you're another big enjoyer of that as well.
Oh, I do. I love it. Eating it since I was a kid.
Also a fan of hot dogs.
I do love hot dogs, which is not usually something anyone agrees with me on.
And you're a big
But
vinegar fan, too.
Vinegar, salt, onions, hot dogs.
Terrific.
That actually
That's
leads
pretty
into
much
what
it.
you do for a living. You're a competitive hot dog eater, right?
Yes. No,
we just eat like it, that's all.
Exactly. You would think I was. But no, I work from home, so I'm living the life. I'm a pricing analyst right now / software developer.
And you always
I like.
pronounce that wrong because I always try to correct you that it's pronounced analyst.
Right.
But
I always forget.
Oh, wow.
But you always forget that part.
I do forget every single time.
I think, during the pandemic, I think you are not alone with working from home being a majority right now of people, I think. But
I think it's starting to taper off. I know a lot of places are starting to return more to work as time goes on, or putting end dates to their remote work at least.
I had an appointment today, and it was right during rush hour, like 8:30, going straight downtown, and there was almost no traffic.
Wow.
So, and
Nice.
the other few times I went out, there was not any traffic. So I think it's sticking around, quite a bit. Not all the way.
I'm delighted to hear that. I got to pick up my bonehead neighbor from the airport on Monday.
You can't keep parking in his driveway.
Well, I'm too late for all that.
Too late.
I'm the only jag off that shovels it, so...
Fair point.
Yeah, whatever.
His driveway?
Yeah, his driveway.
Oh.
even when he's home.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I do one thing.
Quite the neighborship dynamic there. Well, you had mentioned, Kirsten, that sauce, who'd you say, Brianna's?
Yeah, I don't know how you say it.
You mentioned that you like they had the onion one, and they also had another one. You said you like their ranch, is that correct?
Yeah, I do like the ranch dressing.
Okay, and that kind of leads into what we're going to be talking about this week, because we actually, for this episode we brought you on for, we're going to be reviewing a bottle of ranch, which I saw a lot, and this is a bit of a thing of a controversy, because we've talked about this amongst our little group before. Some regions in the United States like to claim ranch as their own. And I think, Tori, you said ranch is a Pittsburgh thing, right?
No. Well, I think it's very, very important to clarify. I say that to get under my wife's skin.
Oh, and it works
give a rat's
beautifully.
ass.
It works.
I could care less about ranch dressing or its origin. It could piss off for all I'm concerned.
If I can do my do my imitation, TG, everyone likes ranch. Everyone thinks they're so special because it's ranch.
Every time it's brought up in conversation, I make it a point.
It is humorous. She's even gone off about it at work.
She's really easy. It's really easy to get her.
So easy. day.
Yeah, to get her wound up on stuff like that.
Up.
Yeah, she bites
though.
Easily. If she was a fish, she would have been dinner a long time ago. That's all I gotta say.
Oh yeah, I mean that's such an easy target for me. So yeah, not that I believe in it. I've heard it before. To be very honest with you, I've heard it numerous times before. I certainly don't believe in it, but that's just that's an easy ploy for me.
I think you're probably right on some regards. We are a bit of a sauce city with Heinz being located here. So and actually, as we haven't quite gotten around to this yet, but actually this sauce is a little bit of a collaboration between an independent restaurant and Kraft Heinz, who I think is the actual probably producing this and distributing it under a recipe provided by the restaurant. But without further ado, Eric, would you like to lead us off with the sauce we're going to be reviewing today?
Sure, Adam, I'd be happy to. We are trying Twisted Ranch Cheddar Popped Jalapeno. And I'm not entirely sure here, but it does say batch 0318. I'm not sure if that's actually like they do small batches and label all the bottles differently, or if that's just like a gimmicky ploy thing.
I know you had speculated before that they had possibly come up with 3,000 other recipes that they tried for this.
I'm casting my vote in the gimmicky column.
Yeah. Because I guess they used a random number generator. Because I'm thinking, well, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But I was going to say, if they used 3,000 other sauces and this is what they arrived at,
or 300 in this case, being 318. But I was also even thinking maybe it was
I thought it was 3. What was the number?
0318.
Oh, 03. I thought it was 3018. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The sauce is not facing me. I'm not illiterate or dyslexic for the listeners.
But I was
just
thinking
a big fucking dummy.
I was thinking maybe it was like the year or the year and month that they came up with the sauce or something. Maybe that.
Or maybe the year, as we mentioned, possibly the year that it was produced, because we have to issue a little bit of a disclaimer on this sauce. This sauce is in violation of my rigid code, the oath I swore to uphold this podcast.
Or it's perfectly acceptable in Eric's mind.
Yes, I'm still not convinced.
Someone's going to get waterboarded before the end of the night, I think, and for consequences of.
We're taking bets.
In any case, the point I'm trying to make is this sauce is expired, and in my defense, it was expired when I bought it. I bought it just this past week from Giant Eagle, and I'm not afraid to call them out for this. Giant Eagle, you need to police your shelves a little bit harder because we're trying to run a business here. We're trying to run a podcast, and you're ruining us with expired sauces.
Yeah, this sauce actually expired on the 17th of October of 2020. So
yes, we're solidly 6 months.
Several months.
Yeah,
and we only discovered this after we ate it.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, who's feeling queasy?
Well, no, because that was
welcome to the show, Kirsten.
Oh, thanks.
That was actually why I brought it up. I was joking because, well, like I said, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but I was detecting some off flavors, and I said to Eric, can you please check and make sure this sauce is in date? And it was not. So that was a little bit disturbing. But
of all people to volunteer a group of people for expired food.
I
would never in a million
expired
years.
Ranch of all things.
I know.
You couldn't get like
ranch.
Expired vinegar or something.
Which kind of leads us into the description. I don't want to get too far into our tasting notes yet, but I'll lead it off a little bit here. The sauce is slightly green, and that was my initial observation. Tori, I don't know if you had any other thoughts on the appearance of the packaging.
Allow me to play on that. Well, I'm not going to get too deep in the woods here, but I said it smells like it looks, and you nailed it. Slightly green. I think it smells slightly green, and it looks like slightly green. That may be a function of it being bad, which is just a tragedy if that's the case. And shame on you, Giant Eagle. I mean, come on now. This is bad business. I mean, we're trying to run a business, and you're trying to sell sauces, and you're
trying to sabotage us.
And you're doing a piss poor job. I mean, and I'm not afraid to say it.
You know what?
Sealed,
I'm revoking their sponsorship. Giant Eagle, don't even fucking ask us.
Yeah, piss off.
I'm just kidding. We'll take anything. Please sponsor
But
us.
at any rate, what the hell did you want out of me? You want a description of this?
Yeah, give us a little description of what we're looking at there besides green.
All right. Well, I mean, if I may, it looks a bit reminiscent. I forget the bottle that it escapes me at the moment, but it looks like a miniature, like one of those beer bottles that we talked about. Maybe with a wider mouth.
Oh, the red stripe.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it has a bit of a rounded top that comes up, of course, into the nozzle, wide nozzle, maybe inch and a half, maybe 2 inch wide
black nozzle
hole there. Of course, that flips up into a easy squeeze type mode. But the bottle's pretty standard outside of that. The majority of it is clear, including the label. There is some graphics here on the label. It's black. It's trendy.
I actually don't think it's that loud
You
for
don't-
packaging.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it's loud. I'm saying it's quite trendy. I mean, it almost looks like one of those old playing cards from back in the day, like one of old Nolan Ryan's baseball cards where the baseball card is clear. Or...
They put some effort into it.
Oh, no,
definitely,
I'm certain they did. Yeah, I mean, it's green, batch 0318. That number is very near and dear to my heart. That's beside the point. But yeah, cheddar popped jalapeno. Light green, black, they got the batch number and all this. It's from St. Louis, Missouri, if that means anything. The great arch there. And, of course, the nutrition facts are there as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's a terrible shame that it's out of date. But the bottle itself, I'd say, is pretty damn attractive.
And, Kirsten, you want to give us a little bit of a visual appearance on the sauce itself? Kind of describe, like I said, we already kind of mentioned the light green, but can you give us a little bit of a description on there?
If I look at the sauce without packaging, yeah, it does have that kind of greenish hue to it, more of a yellow, I think, with like the little pieces of dill or whatever is in it.
Right.
So, and it smells very pungent. Is that the best? I think that's like the best word I could use to say it.
In
like
what sense?
Like a funky cheese kind of pungent, you're thinking?
My initial thing that I said, and you guys I think kind of agreed with, is that I thought it smelled like feet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I either got feet or expensive cheese. They're, of course, interchangeable.
Right.
Why did you say that? I didn't think feet, but now I do.
Or shoes.
But no, the sauce has, like I said, it's almost like, you know how sometimes when you make a tartar sauce, it gets kind of that greenish tint from it?
That's exactly what I thought. I had it right here in my notes, tartar sauce.
Yeah, to me it looks very much like tartar sauce because it's got darker green flecks in it, but it's kind of that light greenish, yellowish color that tartar sauce usually gets.
Absolutely.
And honestly, I like tartar sauce. To me, I think the sauce doesn't look bad at all. I think...
No, I don't think
sometimes you wake up in the morning and you want a nice big warm bowl of tartar sauce to start your day off, and you just have a bowl of it. Is that right, Eric?
I'm not that adventurous when it comes to food. That's a little funky for me, even.
If I may interject my own segment here,
please,
and it'll be very quick. This passed the Blizzard test, and if I can riddle you all as to what the Blizzard test is, give it a quick flip over. It don't move.
Doesn't move.
Yeah, we got some pretty strong sound material on our hands,
and that was something that I had kind of noticed too. Is that it's not really. To me, when I think of ranch, I think of more like the buttermilk base where it's a little bit runnier. This is decidedly not that.
Yeah.
I would say this is more reminiscent of, to me, I think it's definitely clearly mayo-based. It's more of an aioli almost than a ranch.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would agree with that.
Maybe a skosh lower in viscosity than ketchup, per se. Maybe something that runs, you don't need to...
I think even less, yeah. Or whatever the...
I'm talking the ideal ranch would be...
Oh, yes. Definitely runnier, I would think, than ketchup, yeah.
You tip the bottle, you get the action you require.
The idea with a ranch, typically, is that you're trying to use it traditionally as a salad dressing. So you want something that can coat your lettuce. You don't want to have something you have to kind of whip the lettuce into to coat it, You would want something that pours easily.
Yeah, to try and use this in a salad instances like you're saying, I think it would not do well at all. I mean, maybe if the salad was really wet, and then it would help to loosen this up and then spread.
A wet salad?
You're grossing me out, bro.
Oh.
Yeah, lube up your salad before you throw this shit on.
No, but you know what I mean. Sometimes
maybe
you go to
a wedge
restaurant
salad?
and you get
I think he's saying a freshly washed salad,
freshly washed.
If you didn't have a salad spinner.
You ever had that before, in a restaurant? You get a bowl of salad and there's literally a puddle in the bottom? It's
I've had it at home because I don't have a salad spinner. Not on purpose. It's not intentional.
That reminded
slick,
me.
Aren't they?
I use vinegar and oil, though, so it kind of is okay.
I just don't wash my salads. I just buy the pre-washed vegetables, and I figure anything else is just boosting my immune system.
That's right.
No.
You know the entire product line washes their hands thoroughly.
Right.
Of course.
Speaking of...
I got myself a salad spinner. I love it.
Speaking of boosting my immune system, I did a little bit of fact-checking on your Olive Garden Caesar salad thing. I don't think that's a thing. I don't know what you were thinking of, but you had mentioned before...
What? Yeah.
You had mentioned a couple episodes ago that you think that Olive Garden does a table-side Caesar salad, and I don't think that's true. I couldn't find anything about it online, if so.
Yeah, my hard stance on that was incorrect. Absolutely. I think I was just remembering some other Italian restaurant I had
if the listeners know, I mean, it may have been a thing back in the 90s or something that they phased out. If anyone knows if tableside Caesar salad was a thing at Olive Garden, please let us know, by all means.
I cannot confirm or deny for you, E. And I would run to your rescue in a heartbeat.
And I know I've been to also another local, I think it was a Pittsburgh restaurant or a Mexican restaurant that made tableside avocado guacamole.
Okay.
But
Probably not Olive Garden either.
no, it was definitely a Mexican restaurant, but I don't remember which one. So
What, like in a mortar and pestle or whatever? They just bring it out and...
bring out the garlic, bring out all the ingredients, and they just mix up the guacamole fresh right there at your table.
Why now don't you remember the name of this place? I want to go.
It might have
It's
even
not
been
that
like
helpful if we don't know where it's at.
it might have even been
E.
Plaza Azteca there in Robinson.
You could have dreamed this up last night, for all I know.
But could have.
Yeah.
I've been getting more sleep recently, so
Yeah, right.
You having more dreams.
You're to La La Land.
Well, let's go ahead and jump right into our kind of initial tasting notes on this ranch. I guess if we're calling it that, if we're going by what their nomenclature's saying. Okay, let me interject really quick. I did want to mention, we touched on this earlier, but this was developed by a restaurant. There is a restaurant out in Missouri, as you'd mentioned, the Twisted Ranch, and they got famous for having like everything on their menu. It has ranch in some regard,
or some sort of ranch. If they're calling this ranch, they're stretching the term, I think.
And that was something that we kind of got onto a little bit. We'll take a trip to the website here and we'll make some notes on that. But it kind of, like you had said, where do you draw the line as it's no longer ranch? Without further ado here, let's get into a little bit of our tasting notes. You want to lead us off there, Eric?
Sure, absolutely. I was first struck by that pungent, funky cheese kind of smell to it. I don't know. Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say like Old Feet. I wouldn't say shoe store. I think that's going too far. Personally,
I think that's going to all my sauces.
I think shoe
smell
store
like
may
that.
be a compliment.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. Every time I open my fridge, everything smells like that.
Why our house smells like a shoe store?
yeah, it's actually a funny story. Today at work, they actually cleaned out the office refrigerator because they have kept saying how bad it smelled in there. I didn't even notice it. Didn't even faze me. Apparently, I have a broken sniffer.
He's still eating out of it.
I had food in there.
I noticed it's interesting that you called it a refrigerator as opposed to a refrigerator or a fridge.
It only fridges at one time.
That's right.
It doesn't refridge nothing.
Okay.
It's
All
just
right.
once.
All right, very good. But
It
anyways,
blocks of ice in the bottom of it, old school style.
Oh, yeah. I
At
used
the
to
top
have
of
to clean out refrigerators at the workplace.
Oh,
It was
yeah?
not fun.
At the workplace.
I used to
her
work in
pricing analyst job.
Yeah. No, I go into work as a pricing analyst and clean out their fridges. No, I used to be a housekeeper in a nursing home. So in the break room and whatnot, I would clean out the fridge.
Yeah, it sounds like some scary stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as you might think, but it was not great either. Would not want to do that again.
Well, where I work, it's apparently really bad for having some funky old stuff growing in our fridge. It is not good. Anyways, back to the sauce itself, though. I thought it tasted, it's supposed to be a popped cheddar. I guess is what they're calling it. I'm not even sure what the heck they mean by,
Does it say
cheddar.
that?
It says cheddar popped. My bad.
Cheddar popped. As opposed to popped cheddar.
So cheddar pop. So I don't know. Like, to me, does it really strike as cheddar? I thought it was kind of, I don't know, that very funky cheddar, if that's what they're
Maybe
trying
we
to
weren't
call it.
getting the full effect because we were tasting it with the pop filters in front of our faces.
Well, because we were tasting on pretzels. We didn't actually talk about what we were tasting on, but we tasted on some pretzel snacks.
I think that's totally reasonable.
We tasted it on pretzels. We didn't. Eric failed to make an adequate preparation for something for this sauce, so we were kind of debating what we would try this on. What would have this had been better on, though?
That's what I've been wondering this entire time. Like, what would I eat this? Jalapeno poppers, maybe?
I don't know. That seems
maybe
kind of strange. You're doubling down on flavors there.
Right.
Normally you'd want something complimentary, I would think.
On the bottle, it says test out on nachos or question mark.
I don't.
That's
see
what it
this.
says
Come
on.
on
It has a
now.
blank with a question mark.
That's lazy writing.
That's low
I know.
effort.
That is lazy
I don't
That's what it
see
writing.
says.
this working on nachos either, for the same reason as we
No.
had said it wouldn't work on a salad. You
Hot
can't
nacho.
drizzle it.
And it's not hot.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
Don't give me this, and like I'm talking oven hot, not spicy hot.
Right.
right.
You give me this warm, I'm out.
I think it'd
yeah.
be even more gross for
Yeah,
sure.
totally gross.
I
got
think a
that
little
warm
bowl
mayo.
of this with just dipping like carrots or broccoli.
Carrots?
Sure.
Broccoli.
Well,
We mentioned before, this is essentially, I mean, at least as far as I was getting, it's fucking mayo. You're dipping, now, let me ask you this. Would you dip broccoli into fucking mayo?
It's an aioli.
Of course you would. Jesus
Sure.
Christ. Move on to Tori's tasting
aioli.
notes.
No, but I thought it tasted like a little bit of chemically, maybe lemon, citrus kind of notes out of it. Very weird flavors. And where's the jalapeno? I got a little spice, but I didn't really taste jalapeno
All right.
to me. So
Okay.
that
Fair.
sums up my notes. You can move on to someone else that you more align with in thoughts.
Anyone else.
Anyone else.
Tori, why don't you give us your initial tasting thoughts on that?
Well, Eric, I couldn't disagree with you more. The jalapeno was very real to me. It hung with me for quite a while. Not to the degree where it was too much, but the time in which it hung out was noticeable. So I think to that degree, it'll get a couple of points on the heat scale. It was very much reminiscent, I thought, to mayo. Of course, we talked about the tartar sauce. I thought it was identical to tartar sauce on a taste test scale. I definitely smelled a lot of vinegar. I thought, along the funky cheese line, I was there with the blue cheese. I smelled it was more blue cheese to me than more so anything else.
Did you get any cheddar notes at all?
No, I didn't. And I think it's important that I preface everything that I say with, again, the reminder that we tried a sauce that was out of date. Now, allow me to ask you, did you pull the protective label or that seal that's across?
Yes, I did.
You pulled
pull
off.
that. That was present when we bought it.
Well,
I did identify that.
I do, in my own personal world, I like to give the benefit of the doubt to something that is still sealed.
Right.
Whether or not that makes a difference here, I would like to very much try something that is in date.
Yes.
In comparison to what we tried now.
And I did want to make another quick clarification on our earlier clarification about this sauce, because this sauce technically has not expired. They elected not to put an expiration date on this sauce. What they put instead is a best buy date. And those are actually two distinctly different things. A best buy is more of a suggestion, whereas an expiration is also technically an expiration. I mean, is a suggestion. A lot of times you can eat it past the expiration. But generally speaking, the implication is you should throw it away after the expiration, whereas with a best buy, they're just saying there may be some degradation in the flavor or color, but it's not dangerous in you to eat or anything like that.
So like today's example where we found a package of hot dogs in the freezer, it said best buy November of 2018.
Yeah, but that's the same thing. Hot dogs don't really go bad. I mean, you probably could
eat those?
No, I would not personally.
He would not eat those.
But I mean, they're probably chemically
probably
safe to eat. Unless you have listeria concerns.
So I said to my coworkers, I said, the smell's not coming from that. Why throw those away? Because they're expired. Oh, okay.
Well, I would definitely throw them away. They're hot dogs. They cost $3 a thing, and no one's going to eat them at that point, except for maybe you. You probably dug through the trash later, anyways.
Damn, I've been found out.
What else did you think about that taste-wise there, Tor?
I got a lot of saltiness right off the bat. A lot of saltiness and almost a popcorniness. I don't know if that was the power of suggestion on the label. It mentions pop something.
Cheddar pop.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, I got a sort of a popcorny, maybe a buttery type sensation there, maybe. I hate to say this again, and I don't care about all this garbage technicality rabbit shit you're talking about, but I thought it tasted like vomit.
Wow. Okay.
I really did. I mean, all this Best Buy, expiration, ticky-tacky horseshit, I mean, it shouldn't be on the shelf. Period. Bottom line. And I'm not blaming you. I'm not faulting you because you're the consumer. You're always right. You pull something that is obviously front-faced on the shelf. You expect it to be fresh. You expect it to be in date. So this sauce may be horrible. Who knows? It may it may be great. I don't know, but I think Giant Eagle is to fault here. And I'm going to slam him. I'm going to slam him hard. Of course.
Take a hard stance.
But yeah, I mean, honest to goodness, I had a couple of tastes with my spoon. Of course, I always have my spoon handy. It's here. I made a frown, a noticeable frown. The entire time throughout tasting it. So I think that right there tells the tale. I don't have too much more to say than that.
Wow.
I mean, if you're eating something and you're frowning the entire time, a noticeable. I mean, it takes work to frown that to that degree. And for those who can't see us,
he's making a noticeable frown.
And that's what it sounds like.
It's an over dramatized.
But I mean, if that's what it sounds like, but yeah, boy, not impressed. I think I may eat this in a parallel universe on a nothing sandwich.
Wow. Just bread.
Who knows?
Or just squeeze it straight
It
in your
could be, who knows? Effing quantum bread. I mean, who knows? I mean, yeah, the possibilities are endless. But, but yeah, maybe in some alternate universe I'd like this, but certainly not this one.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's, you went off on some interesting tangents there, but okay.
What the hell do you expect? Why do you have me on this show?
Quantum bread sandwiches.
Come on.
You lost me a little bit on that.
Yeah, right.
Part,
I'm not going to get into boring ass details about the difference between a Best Buy date or whatever.
I was with you up until the quantum bread sandwich, but
so what universe do you think you'll be trying this, Kirsten?
In what universe?
In what universe is the sauce good for you?
Pick a universe, any universe.
When my face when eating this was more of one of confusion. So I can't really decide what I would eat it on. I actually don't dislike it as much as you guys do. It's not bad for me. It seems like something I would like. I'd be interested to try the non-expired version.
Agreed.
But expiration dates aren't usually a huge deal to me, especially if it's sealed. But it being ranch dressing, it's awkward. It's an awkward taste.
That's interesting. So you do call it a ranch dressing?
I think it's
That's
like
what
ranch.
they're calling it.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to call it by its name, regardless of whether you agree with that or not.
It's ranchy to me. Like, it just has a lot of flavors in it. I did get some jalapeno, but I had to eat a few. I had it on these pretzels, so I had to eat a few of them to really feel it.
Did you dip your fingies in like the rest of us?
I did not, but
You got fingy deep into it?
I did not.
Some of us have spoons.
Pretzel.
That's true.
Oh, that's true. You did use a spoon.
The
I
famous
always do.
H spoon.
I used a good old what are waffle-shaped pretzels? What are those?
They're called snaps, as Eric will happily
Snaps.
tell you, and the salt on them is a flavor enhancer.
But
So he'll
they're-
also fucking tell you.
They don't snap like the sticks do, though.
Well, I'll tell it to
So-
Eric because he's the nomenclature Nazi, and they're called snaps.
What
It
do you
is.
have to
It
say?
is what is written on the package, but I really don't care what you call them.
It is what is on the package, and you call them the snaps.
Oh, look who's calling the kettle. Something that blows steam.
The first ingredient is soybean oil, which is
Oh, you're
interesting.
spoiling the ingredients. That's Eric's favorite segment.
Oh,
You
I
I'll,
didn't
I'll be
know
happy to
that.
let you read the ingredients.
Oh my
this
God.
I'm
episode.
sorry.
Yo, this
I
is
didn't
such a.
know.
Oh, we'll have to cut this entire episode now.
You know
What
what?
a
I
travesty.
did know that, but I forgot.
Eric
I'm
has
sorry.
steam coming out of his ears. It's escaping his headphones.
It's
and
blowing off his headphones,
curling
yeah.
up over the top of his head. His
I'm the
bright
most
red.
easygoing guy here.
Ooh.
Minus the smoke.
Ooh, them's fighting words, too.
Oh goodness. Well,
Right.
so what else? Did you have any other like tasting notes to leave us with, or that was pretty much what you thought?
That was mostly. I didn't get much cheddar. I got a little jalapeno at the end, just a little spice, not too much. I don't know what popped flavor is.
Yeah, that was something that we all kind of struggled with, was that not knowing what this popped is supposed to be. And we thought maybe it was jalapeno poppers they were going for,
Yeah, I
Or-
think so.
or maybe like a popcorn, but it's certainly not clear in any case.
Does it feel? There's a lot of like dill flavor. Did you get that?
Oh well,
There's
I didn't get as much of the dill.
Or
I
is
did
it
a little
vinegar?
bit. A
I
little
wish
bit
I
of the
would have
dill.
got more dill. That
Yeah.
would have made for a more pleasant experience.
I do think I actually got some of the dill, and you had mentioned, I think both you had mentioned a popcorn, possibly power of suggestion from the label.
I think
Right.
so.
But what Eric had mentioned earlier off recording was he was talking about kind of like that chemically taste you get from a bag of pre-popped popcorn, and that
Which is gross.
right. I like pre-pop popcorn, but you said you didn't like that. And I do think that you're kind of in the right direction there. For me, initially, I definitely got like a coolness up front, kind of like from the mayo and probably a little bit of the dill in there. I then got, I know you had said, Eric, what cheese did you describe tasting?
I just said it was like a funky cheese. Tori said it was like blue cheese.
Blue cheese. I actually got Parmesan.
Yeah.
Or like a
Yeah.
hard cheese like that, you know, because sometimes you smell like a freshly grated Parmesan. It tastes really good, but the smell can be foot-like.
Yeah, revolting.
yeah.
So,
Strong and pungent.
yeah, I didn't get any cheddar, and they're showing a white cheddar on the label here. I didn't get any cheddar. I definitely got a Parmesan-type taste, though.
I agree with that.
And kind of to your note, Eric, and this is where I think some of the confusion was between you, Eric, and Tori. I did not get any of the jalapeno either. What I did get was heat. And as we'd mentioned, going back to like the Yellowbird sauces, jalapeno has a distinct flavor. And if you get a really good fresh jalapeno, it has a very distinct flavor. And Yellowbird nailed that
I think
with
so.
their hot sauce. This, I got the heat that I think was probably a proper amount of heat for a jalapeno in a sauce like this. I got nothing whatsoever of that jalapeno flavor.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that I didn't have heat either. Like, there was a little spice.
And it did
was-
linger a little bit.
I guess. I mean, what it was interesting. I didn't realize it. I had about 3 or 4 pretzel snaps with this,
Right.
sauce on it, and then I took a sip of water, and the water
Yeah.
cooled
Oh.
my tongue, and I was like, oh,
It's subtle.
there's a little spice there, but
No,
it's like I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, it definitely is a subtle heat, but it's there, and I think if you had a lot of it, you would definitely start to notice it. Not overbearing and not unpleasant, but definitely present. The last thing I got as far as a flavor was, and you had kind of touched on this as well, Eric, is that I got sweetness, which no one had mentioned yet, but I got a sweetness and almost like a citrusy taste, like a lime, almost kind of like a limeade, you know, how it has like that lime, but also the sweetness to it.
And kind of chemically?
Yeah, and kind of chemically. I definitely got a finish of like limeade, which I thought was revolting with this. That did not go at all for me, but the one key thing I wanted to see what you guys thought. Kirsten won't, I think Kirsten may have listened to this, so she may know a little bit reference-wise, but to me, this sauce is spicy wild style. You guys remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Nailed it.
Because I think that was like garlic parmesan or something like that, and to me, that is exactly what this is.
I would say with a kiss of spice.
Of
Yeah,
spice.
that's what I think this is.
I wouldn't even get it. I wouldn't even give it the credit to say spicy wild style. I'd say with a kiss of spice. Someone waved the jalapeno over the mayonnaise as they made this.
Now these jars are different though, but
And see, this plays right into what I was going to ask Kirsten about, is because she held to the notion that this is ranch, right? And
Right.
off recording, we mentioned that, what really defines a ranch is that like onion, garlic, and spices. I mean, the onion and garlic are pretty much forefront in a kind of a mayo or buttermilk, garlic, salt, maybe some mustard and herbs. Garlic, salt, and onion. So
we're reading off Wikipedia for the listeners. We didn't just memorize that before the show.
So I wonder if, Kirsten, did you pick up more garlic and onion notes? Is that kind of what you're really, maybe why you're saying, oh, you still taste that kind of like ranch?
I did pick up on the garlicky, oniony stuff.
And then when you're saying it's like wild styles garlic parm.
And I have a little bit of a conspiracy theory to share with you on this as well. I believe we may have discovered that the wild style was a craft product as well, right?
Yeah, it was. We discovered that episode.
I think these things are coming out of the same fucking tube. I think these are coming out of some Kraft Heinz R&D facility. They're pumping them into these bottles.
That's where your friend works, right?
No, he a coworker of mine used to work there.
Okay.
But no, I think these are coming out of the same tube into different bottles, and they're throwing slightly different seasonings in there. But the base for this and the wild style, I believe, are exactly the same. That's my little conspiracy theory for the day.
I don't think you're off base at all.
I don't think we have any way to prove or disprove that, unless someone from Kraft Heinz would like to come forward and be a whistleblower on this. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it on that.
So I'm pretty sure our wild style garlic parm ended up in the trash, which is where Tori wanted that to go.
Oh, of course. Oh.
And I'm trying to decide if I like this better or not. Some of the initial flavors I got up front I thought were better, but that limeade taste at the end was just like, why is this here? You got the ranch essence, you got in and out with that, you got your heat from the jalapeno. Why am I getting this limeade at the end? There doesn't say on there lime. It doesn't say on there, sweet. Why is a ranch sweet? That was what I found most concerning.
It's interesting you say sour lime along that essence. I definitely got a sourness, but not in a good way. Not in a citrus way. Not in a way that I would expect that would be pleasant.
Well, on that note, before Kirsten steals any more of your thunder, and since we're talking about strange additions, Eric, would you like to give us your traditional read on the ingredients there?
I really am happy to share if we want to let Kirsten do it.
No, I think she's afraid of you
should do
now.
it.
She's afraid after your last reaction. We had to pause the show so you could calm down. We had to take a break outside in the cold
I was shaking
for
for
you
a
to
while.
cool down. Kirsten had to get Kleenex. She was crying.
All right, as rightfully so, here are the ingredients. We have soybean oil, vinegar, water, whey, heavy cream, cream jalapeno peppers, salt, citric acid. We got egg yolks, cultured low-fat buttermilk. Hey, it does have buttermilk in there. Surprising. That's interesting. Cultured low-fat milk, non-fat milk, salt. Boy, I should have taken some cheese pills with this, huh?
Yeah, we tell you every time. We've talked about this every episode. Take your cheese pills first.
Sodium citrate. Let's see here. More salt and phosphoric acid, yellow mustard, distilled white vinegar. There's that vinegar, mustard seed, water, salt. This thing goes on for a mile. It really does here. Lots
It's all
of spices.
chemicals.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting at, is it's 87 ingredients of chemical. And I think the only thing that I saw in there that I heard you say that made sense to me was the citric acid. Because that, I think, would be probably partially explaining that citrusy taste I was getting at the end.
Love citric acid and heavy cream. Boy, that's a match made in heaven.
Combination, yeah.
And cheese culture enzymes. There's a right at the end there. It's
enzymes. Yeah, this I would say this is probably, if you asked me what that was without a label on there, I would just say a bottle of enzymes is what it looks like to me.
Of all sauces to taste out of date, we taste the one with heavy cream, egg yolks. I mean, are you kidding?
This, yeah. I think it's important to say, though, this is shelf stable. This is not a refrigerated product.
According to who?
It wasn't refrigerated.
According to John Nagel?
Yeah, according to the people that sold it to me out of date. So that's fair. That's a fair point.
Again, I don't know if it's the color of like that white, backlit LED screen there, but look at how we have their website brought up here, and we have their ranch, or their Twisted Ranch Cheddar Popped Jalapeno is clearly featured, and it looks much more white and less green tint than what's in front of us, or like green and yellowy.
Yeah, I don't know how much that is creative photography though with lighting.
True.
They also have the
Photoshop is rampant.
nozzle top too.
Good point. Excellent point.
I like the nozzle.
I like the nozzle better too.
Well, they've changed the bottle since this style went out of date 6 months ago when it expired. But no, they actually have a whole lineup of sauces. I think one of the deals with this restaurant is they have like 87 different flavors of ranch sauce.
I hope they're better than this one.
Well, and I think that's probably part of it. Like I had said, I have to imagine if you go to the restaurant, this is probably not a direct one-to-one. This is, like I said, this is doctored wild style, if I'm guessing. But they have, I think, 5 different flavors that they bottle. So we pulled up a little quick reference here just to check, and it looks like as of the time this article was written, there were 33 different ranch flavors, and they're bottling. I was actually hoping you, Eric, could you read off the flavors down there that they're currently bottling?
Yeah, absolutely. They are bottling their most popular flavors from their restaurant. They have a black pepper parmesan, a cheesy smoked bacon, a garlic smashed buffalo. That actually sounds really interesting.
That sounds good, too.
Yeah. Honey dipped wasabi.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe. And a mango spiked habanero. Now, I'd be down to try that. Each 13-ounce bottle oh, that's just cost. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's actually...
Each 13-ounce bottle costs $3.29, which is actually a very good price. Is that what you paid?
That's what I paid for it. And,
nice. Okay.
So, price-wise, it was fine. It's a reasonably sized bottle for that. And that was actually one of the initial things. I was like, oh, this looks interesting. It's, relatively inexpensive. But this kind of leads on to a point that we were talking about before. At what point does something cease to be ranch? We had mentioned that before with this here, which seems more primarily mayo-based, which I think is still within the realm of what you could call ranch. But when you start getting into the things like the cheesy bacon, whatever, cheesy smoked bacon, and the garlic smoked buffalo, like, at what point are these no longer even reminiscent of ranches?
I fully agree. They're now, you can't really call them a ranch.
You got to define ranch.
And it does say ranch on all the bottles. And then some of these bear not even a passing resemblance to ranch.
Well, allow me to riddle you this, Batman.
Okay.
Are we talking ranch is in the condiment, or are we talking ranch is in the place where there's cowboys and cows and horses? Like ranch, like a ranch.
I think this is pretty clear they're talking about the...
Dude, I don't know. I mean, allow me to play the advocate.
Yeah, maybe it's a funny play on words. They explicitly state
that their shtick is like the ranch dressing. That is like their shtick of the restaurant.
Is that on the website?
That's on there.
Because their brand is called Twisted Ranch, which is big on the label, but the actual flavors don't say ranch in them.
Interesting point.
Yeah, if you look on the one article we were referencing there, and I have no familiarity with this restaurant. I don't think any of us have ever been there, but at one point they had, they have, like I said, 33 different flavors of ranch. They're saying that they're made in-house daily, and they also feature on the menu ranch-infused beverages. And
That's
I think we were all grimacing at that idea. No part of that sounds good to me, especially...
that sounds good.
Although actually, the limeade thing, I could actually see that part being potentially good in a drink. I don't know about the rest of it.
You had a pickle limeade at Picklesburg once.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
Or a pickle lemonade.
I could see maybe some of these flavors.
How's that ranch based?
It wasn't ranch based at all.
It sounds like pickle based.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, it had nothing to do with this.
But it was vinegary. And so it didn't work very well.
Yeah, there was
I
some
thought.
brine in there. It
But
was
you
okay.
liked it.
It was okay. It was an interesting thing to try, but I
didn't
think
like it.
I think the only thing I could see something like this going into would be maybe like a Bloody Mary, and I think even that's quite a stretch.
That's a stretch. Armstrong City, if I ever heard one.
Mayonnaise in drinks to me just sounds repulsive. Like that's the stereotypical American thing. They envision us drinking mayonnaise, and I think that's essentially what they're doing there.
If I can just get in one quick dig, I happened to notice that this particular sauce was from St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
Obviously, I mean, if folks from St. Louis enjoy this, it doesn't surprise me because if they may be Cardinals fans, and as a Buccos fan, that doesn't surprise me. The Cardinals fans like this because they got horrible taste. Yeah, so
It's always taking a hard stance on that. Horrible taste.
yeah, I mean, the Pirates have absolutely no chance at the National League Central, but hey, I'm allowed to talk smack from the basement, so.
Well, I think that this is something else that we should kind of touch on is that, collectively Americans as a whole having poor taste, when it comes to ranch is kind of like our national sauce in a way. Other countries, for example, like the Doritos in Europe, they call those cool American flavor, whereas over here they're called cool ranch. Ranch is kind of like along with root beer, it's like a signature American thing. They
sort
don't
of a
really,
euphemism for America.
Not a euphemism so much, but yeah, like something that is representative, I guess you could say. That is
Quintessential.
Yeah, that is how they kind of. Okay, we don't need to keep doing it because none of these are really the right.
You got your thesaurus out here?
None of these are really the right words.
I do.
We're just derailing it now. So, but yeah, not so much of a euphemism exactly, but that's kind of like something that they view as kind of like symbolic for us. Like that's just not something that they really have in other countries.
Yeah, I think that's not. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's very. It's too easy to put a label against Americans. Is that's what I'm trying to go at. It's something that we had mentioned on earlier when we talked to Tori. You had had that interview with Ollie, and he was making some references to stereotypical American. Well, he wanted to know how it is that we could make a whole podcast just on sauces. He didn't think that Americans we have Cool Ranch, we have mayonnaise, we have ketchup. That's just. It's not true, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know so much that he was saying. My interpretation of what he was saying was not so much in regards to the variety of sauces we have, but more to do with how much can you say about a sauce in general, any one sauce at all.
Okay, well then I guess I'm just disagreeing with you.
No, that was just the way I interpreted it. That's all.
What are you trying to say that American is Cool Ranch? Like
no, I'm just saying something that's unique to us. I'm not saying I'm not trying to make a statement one way or the other. Just that it's unique to us.
Ranch dressing in general was invented here in America. It's an American thing.
Yeah, I think it was invented here.
It probably was. Certainly gone worldwide since. I know you.
Hidden Valley, maybe.
Hidden Valley.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Where is the Hidden Valley anyway?
I think it's in California.
Is it?
I think, again, off recording, Adam brought up probably a thing on Wikipedia or something about ranch and how it had taken the industry by storm, the sauce industry, if we want to call it that, since 1992, I believe, is what Adam had found out.
Ranch in general?
Yeah.
It took over the sales of Italian dressing.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, we did see that on the Wikipedia.
I liked how it was invented by a plumber in the 50s. Didn't it say that?
Maybe I didn't see that part.
I
didn't read the whole article. I skimmed it.
I skimmed it. It was down at a few paragraphs.
In the 50s. That's amazing. That's interesting.
By a plumber. Like, I don't know, just having a snack on the job or...
I wonder what this what this guy would think if he tried this ranch.
Well, surely he wouldn't have brought all the ingredients with him. Like, surely he didn't invent it on the job. I wouldn't think.
I just skimmed it. We can go back and read it.
That's okay. Let's go ahead and get into the ratings portion of our show. We'll save Kirsten for last. Or should we do her first? I don't want her to be influenced by the rest of our ratings.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Let's have the guest go first.
Okay.
Do you even know our rating scale?
Well, 0 to 10, 5 is ketchup.
Okay.
Yep, and we do one for. We did decide that we're going to do one for heat on this, so we'll do one for the flavor overall, which kind of takes all the characteristics into it except for heat, and then we do one for heat, and for that we typically consider Frank's Red Hot to be a 5. So go ahead and give us your flavor rating first.
Okay. My flavor rating. So I really like strong flavors, as I said earlier: onions, salt, garlic, all the above, and I liked it. I liked it pretty well, but like I said, it's just kind of awkward. I don't know what I would eat it on. So because I'm kind of confused, I'm just going to go with a medium, like 5. I don't really like ketchup. So to me,
okay.
it's like I could eat ketchup or this, except I don't know what I would eat this on.
I think that's actually a pretty good rating, all things considered. I mean, I think 5 is usually a pretty decent one for us.
It's not far off from what I'm going to give it.
I mean, I don't like ketchup that much, and this, I like it in theory. The jalapenos I love. Cheddar I like, but I don't know I would choose it over ketchup. So 5 it is.
All right. And do you want to give us a heat rating on that too?
Probably 1. That's my heat rating.
Okay. Yeah, pretty low. That seems pretty fair.
Like I got the twinge of heat after a few different, trying it a few times. So 1.
I like that. Well,
Yep.
So those are some good ratings.
Okay. Eric, what do you want to go ahead and give us your rating on this?
Sure. Yeah, I'm actually real similar to what everything you said, Kirsten. I like the fact that it's complex. They really tried for something here. I do think they missed the ball point, as I like to say.
They missed the ball point. They're off the ball point.
Off the ball point. I was wavering between 4.5. I think I'll give it a 4.5 because I still hold to the fact that I think this would be actually not too bad with some just dipping some cold cut like vegetables or zucchini, squash, or carrots. I'm not going to dip a carrot in ketchup. That's weird.
Right.
But I would definitely dip a
I would
carrot
hope
in this.
not. Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a 4.5 on the taste, and I'm going to give it a big old 0.5 on heat, because like I said, it just didn't really hit me, and I didn't really taste the jalapenos, but I imagine I'm going to get a very different scoring from my co-host Tori here. Want to let her rip?
Oh, certainly. Sure. What the hell? Why not? Well, I'd like to give, I am going to give this sauce something better than I think it deserves, because Giant Eagle, I believe, is at fault. I don't think the sauce itself, is at fault. So, but by that virtue, I will give it a 7 also. Yeah, I'm going to give it a big time benefit of the doubt.
Wow.
Wow.
To that end, yeah. I'm glad it's over. I'll tell you that. But yeah, so that's Twisted Ranch in a nutshell. There's your 7, and that's that.
What about a heat there?
Heat, I'll give it maybe a 1 at best.
You thought it was pretty low too.
Yeah, I mean, it hung around. The duration in which it hung around was longer than the initial heat, right off the bat. So by that virtue, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 1.
Try to remember what you gave Hooters wing sauce. I think we all pretty much agreed it was like 0 or 1.
It was garbage.
Yeah, it was. Well, I still think that was a prepared kind of
Yeah.
cooking
Well, not the heat,
error.
though. The cooking error had nothing to do with the heat rating.
True.
Yeah, but I'm going to go out on a limb. I mean, I do feel bad for Twisted Ranch. I feel as if they would have got a much fairer rating if the expiration. And I'm not blaming anybody. That's not my intention. I'm blaming Giant Eagle if I'm blaming anybody.
Right.
Certainly not blaming the consumer. Not blaming anything like that. The expectation is that you get a fresh product off the shelf, and that was not the case here. So by that virtue, Twisted Ranch, I think it has possibility. I would certainly hope so. If an entire restaurant is designed around the idea of this ranch dressing, I would certainly hope they have it down cold, for their sake. But yeah, I'm gonna be nice, and I'm gonna give it a 7.
It seems extremely nice. I'm surprised. Not to beat you to a dead, not to keep beating this to like a.
Hey, I like to surprise people every once in a while.
Is there a particular flavor combo that you're just like really excited for?
No,
here?
there's. I mean, I described it earlier as vomit, but again, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a couple extra points because shelf stable, blah blah blah, FDA or not. I mean, there's still buttermilk in there. There's still egg yolks in there. That still has a very limited time frame. And I think if this was fresh and in stock and ready to roll, no one's fault, no one's shopping fault. But I think if the shelves were rotated properly, I think we may have a better sauce on our hands. So by that virtue alone, that is a lofty 7. Give that a 7 with a halo and angel wings in your little notebook there, because that's a gift.
It's sweet. It's interesting. I think listeners are going to be really interested in how you can go from something that you claim to be vomit to a 7, which is a pretty high rating.
And I prefaced it when I said these horrible things. I prefaced it at that point. And hey, I'm going to stick to my guns.
Sorry.
And I think, again, I'm banking on the idea that a restaurant based around ranch dressing would know ranch dressing better than what's in this bottle right now.
Okay.
So by that virtue and the fact that it's out of date, I'm going to give it a 7.
Alrighty.
They did state that was, they were claiming that those were some of their more popular, one of their better sauces.
Well, they're top 5, I would assume, since they're bottling it.
And I actually wanted to make a little bit of a counterpoint to that. What I was hoping this sauce would be similar to was the jalapeno ranch from Sheetz. I don't know if you guys have had that, but that one's actually quite delightful.
Nope, haven't had it.
It's spicier. It's got a much better consistency for dipping to it, and doesn't seem nearly as mayo-based as this was. And, man, cannot be more disappointed that this fell far short of that. I'm going to say, oh, man, for flavor, I'm going to give it a 3. I think a 3. Yeah, 3.5 maybe even, because I would definitely eat this on something. Like, it's not, revolting. I would try this on, like, even some broccoli or something. It's not pleasant, but it's not revolting either. Like, if I had an aunt that made this for a family function and I had to be polite, I could definitely scarf some down. As opposed to that satay sauce where I could not have physically eaten that. It just would not have worked. So, yeah, I think I'll go ahead and give it a 3.5 for that. As far as the heat goes, previously, as we've discussed, sometimes if I get that burn in the back of my throat, I generally consider that to be less like true heat. I didn't get that. This was more in tongue and in the mouth, so I think that's pretty legitimate. And I think if I ate a bigger portion of this, I would definitely get more of the heat. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 2.5. Bearing in mind if Frank's is a 5, I think that's pretty fair. It's definitely nowhere near Frank's, but I think 2.5 is okay on that. I was kind of going back and forth between a 3, but I thought that was too close to the Frank's. Well, I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this episode on the Twisted Ranch Cheddar Popped Jalapeno Sauce. Eric, do you have any closing thoughts you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I found this sauce to be, as I don't know if it was actually said earlier on the episode or not, I think it's inspiring. It's almost like, like I said, they really try for some complexity. And also I was also going to mention that, like I tied back into the beginning, sleep is a wonderful thing. So don't deprive yourselves of that either. But yeah, try something new and get some good rest in your evening and at your nights. That's important. At least for me, it is. Having a good week, that's for sure.
Well, I hope it certainly continues into next week. I'm assuming I'm going to take the reins here on my final thoughts here, and I'm going to touch on the idea of innovation. Innovation is typically disliked when it's first rolled out for whatever reason. I mean, think of all the good inventions throughout history. The telephone, who in the hell needs a telephone? We got the telegraph. Who in the hell needs an automobile? We have a horse and carriage. And I certainly hope that this innovation here that our friends at Twisted Ranch came up with hopefully comes into to the mainstream, because I have a soft spot for them, because I don't think that the negative rating was their fault at all. I really don't. So apply this idea of innovation to yourself. And even though these new, fresh, cool ideas that you come up with that you think are absolutely the bee's knees and everyone else poo-poos on you, don't let them get you down. Continue on your struggle and on your journey, and we can only hope the best for you and wish the best for you. So go ahead and be an innovator and go out there and smash it. And we wish you the absolute best. And we, of course, thank you for listening.
It's like a statement straight from my Kickstarters.
He's trying to fundraise over here. Well, in any case, also, Kirsten, we can't thank you enough for coming out and reviewing the sauce for us. Again, we seem to have a habit of getting people out here for guests for sauces that end up being pretty low on the ratings, so that's just an unfortunate coincidence we had. But again, thanks for coming out. We really appreciate having you. Did you have any closing thoughts you wanted to share with us?
Well, thank you. I've enjoyed being here with you. My only closing thought, I don't know how to follow what Tori's inspirational message was, but definitely try the ranch dressings. Visit the restaurant if you can, Twisted Ranch. Maybe not try this one as your first one, maybe your third. And have a nice day. Hope to talk to everyone again someday.
Yeah, Tori's always tough to follow with his thoughts. He usually has the most wholesome messages to wrap us up.
It was very wholesome.
I don't know if this is I'm assuming that this is a chain here, but I would actually love to give this a shot. Try it in store, because I can only imagine, to me, and I'm a big supporter of Kraft Heinz, I have to imagine that this is something that they're missing the mark on, just because, like I said, to me, this is way too similar to the Wild Style for me to think that this is something that Twisted Ranch came up with totally on their own. Well, that's it. That'll do it this week for us. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week. Wow, thanks for listening. Of all of our episodes that we've done so far, that sure was one of them. If you'd like to give us some feedback, perhaps you'd like to tell us how much you don't like me interrupting or making fun of E, feel free to send us an email at softspoken@gmail.com. If you'd like another fun way to get a hold of us, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter at softspoken. Sometimes we like to take some funny pictures, maybe follow up on some of the things we talked about on the podcast. If you'd like to check that out, look at our Instagram. We're at softspokenofficial. Lastly, it really helps us out if you'd be willing to give us a rating or a review or a follow on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Thanks again for listening, and make sure to check us out next week. We'll be here with a fresh new episode and some hot takes on some hot sauces. This is Sauce Spoken.